Hi everyone, my name is Srikant and you are welcome to Happy Bellyfish Cooking Show. Today we are going to talk about something that troubles everybody, and it had troubled me for years. It's about the utensils, the cooking utensils, the pots and the pans that we have in our kitchen. What most of us do is we go with the obvious choice. Now you walk into a utensil store and you see rows and rows of pans which are mostly non-stick and they're very expensive. And then we go with the idea that they're expensive, they must be better. Something like how you choose wine. There are a couple of reasons why I say don't go for non-stick pans. And one of them is obviously that even though the industry promises that there is no toxic material, but it can be that there is no study done at that particular point of time that says that, okay, there's nothing wrong with this material and everything is all right. That's what happened with the material called Teflon, right? When it was used, it became very popular. People loved it. Wow, it's like, works like magic, nothing sticks. And the nicest part about it was that you can clean it so easily because nothing is sticking to the pan. Nobody wants to use their elbow grease, cleaning it up. But few years later, then the studies came out that yes, at a certain temperature, it starts emitting some fumes. And these are poisonous. And this is the trouble with non-stick pan. And another aspect to it is that you don't know when to stop using it. So if you see a lot of people, they have non-stick pans that have scratches on them. One small scratch and the pan is gone. And imagine how much waste you are generating just by using this pan because somebody accidentally created a scratch or you used it at a very high temperature. And just purely because of the use, the coating has started to come off. And many people actually continue to use it. For years, they continue to use it without thinking that this is actually poisonous, toxic for their body. Do we have any options that we can say that will not be toxic, will be something that will last for ages? You can even give it to your grandchildren in hereditary property. This is a pan that your grandfather bought or your grandmother. So is there a possibility like that? And I would say yes. And it does require a little bit of care and effort, but you will be proud of the utensils that you have in your kitchen. Proud because they will last for years, they will look good, and also they will add nutrition to your food. The way you cook will also change. So what are your options here? The cheapest and the best option that most people can go for is cast iron pan. Now this is a cast iron pan that is uncoated one. So these are inexpensive. All you have to do or take care is that it's seasoned properly, which means that you have to put some oil and heat it time and again. Now, cast iron pans are good if you are cooking non-acidic food. But if you are cooking acidic food, then the seasoning will go off. And I will explain what seasoning actually does to the pan. So if the seasoning goes off, no problem, you can start all over again. It's a part of your daily life. You don't have to go and do an extensive seasoning for this pan. Just small care should be enough. The other thing about cast iron pan, when you cook with them, do not leave your food in the cast iron pan. Once the cooking is done, take the food out. If you leave it, then a lot of metal poisoning will start happening. And this should not worry you. It's not like it happens immediately as soon as the cooking is done. But if you leave it overnight or you take this pan and put it in the fridge, we do it sometimes. So that can be actually toxic. So the best option is you finish your cooking, take the food out and wash it immediately. Okay, now coming to taking care about cast iron pan, never leave them in water, do not wash them in dishwasher, and do not use harsh chemicals or soap to wash them. That's all you have to do. And the best thing that you can use to clean this pan is just like coffee grind. The coffee grind that you take it out of the mocha pot, you can just use that and rub it nicely and it will clean the pan. And if you want to have something better than just cast iron pan which is uncoated, you can go for the enameled version of this cast iron pan. These are extremely expensive, but this is a pan that will last you forever. Like you come back 1,000 years later, rebirth or just like a Dracula, and you'll still find that pan is still there. And this pan is also universal in terms like you can use it on any type of cooktop like induction or hot plates, gas, or even in the oven. So this is a great option for you to go for. Now, what's the problem? Why people don't like cast iron? Because it's very heavy. No! Caring, yes, you have to make sure that it's not wet. It has to be dry. You have to make sure after use you oil it nicely and store it properly. So cast iron pans are great, but they're heavy. Do I have a lighter option? There are many, but let's start with carbon steel. This is a great option. It was always used in the commercial kitchens. Top chefs always used it, but it was not always visible to the average domestic consumer. And even I came to know about it when I was completely frustrated with non-stick pans, because they would kind of get damaged very easily. And then I switched over to carbon steel pans, and you get them in different shapes and sizes. You get different types of woks, you get pans of different diameters. And the ones that I like the most are the ones that come with a handle that's also made of carbon steel. I don't like the ones that come with this plastic or bakelite handle, because then I can also use them in the oven. Yes, it also needs good care that you will have to do for the cast iron pan, which is simple actually. You just have to start changing the way you think. You wash it, you tap dry it, and then it's ready for you. Just store it nicely. Don't keep it in a moist place. Don't just leave it in the sink thinking that I'll wash it tomorrow. And remember, these two pans, cast iron pan and carbon steel pan, never wash them in a dishwasher. And again, I will stress that one of the most natural materials that you can use to clean your pan is just ground coffee. Or if you are lucky, or if you stay in a place where you have ash available from the wood that you burn, or from the charcoal that you burn, you can even use that to clean. This will also take off the smell that will remain from the previous cooking that you did on this pan. So I wanted to tell you what seasoning was. So it's just a way for you to get a very smooth surface on the pan. So the cast iron pan and the carbon steel pan that you will buy, they will always recommend season it. And all you have to do is just heat some oil, a certain type of oil, and heat treat this particular pan so the surface is nice and smooth. But here is where people kind of little bit go wrong. And I will talk more about it in my other video where I'm saying how to treat and use or take care of your carbon steel pan. So do make sure that you subscribe to our channel so that you get notified when the video is released. I love healthy pan options, but I don't have the time or the energy or the elbow grease to take care of cast iron or carbon steel pan. Do I have any other option? Of course you do. Stainless steel. But here you have to pay attention. Sometimes what manufacturers do to make the pan light and also to cut the cost, they actually bond aluminum with steel. So they will sandwich aluminum, which is a very good conductor of heat, in between steel. I'm not a very big fan of it. Kind of the surface that is created on it, it kind of gives me a very ununiform way of the heat distribution which is there in the pan. I also felt that this lightweight kind of makes me feel that I'm not really, enjoying this aspect. I like the pans to be heavy. And there are steel pans that are available in the market that is completely made of steel. Everything in it, the handle, the rivets, and even the lid that you get along with it will also be steel. You can of course go for the glass lids. That's also a great option so that you can see what's cooking inside. And what's good about using steel pans, you don't ever have to season it. You can leave it with some water inside it, and even you can put it inside the refrigerator. You can come back 6 months later and the steel pan will still be there. It will not be eaten away by the elements of the nature. So what's the problem with using steel pans? So when you use steel pan, it will not have the possibility of getting that seasoning, right? So it will not create this smooth surface. So food tends to stick to the steel pan a lot. So one of the suggestions I give to people who want to use steel pan, do not cook on very high flame. If you do that, then the food will stick. And the last option that I would recommend is earthenware. Now this is something that comes with an enamel coating that will make it last longer. It will also not absorb, the smell and the fragrance of the food. But you also get the ones which are purely clay. And one of the reasons people use clay pots is because it retains a lot of moisture in the food. And it's also a very nice way of cooking food with less oil. But this is an option that I would say that you must use when you're very good and expert at maintaining the clay pots and also at cooking. It's not for a person who has just started to cook. It takes a little bit of effort to cook, and sometimes it also leaves a residual smell that's kind of an unpleasant thing to have. But the most unfavorable part about clay pots is that it will not last you forever. There are ones that you get, this enamel coated ceramic pots. You can use them in the oven, but it will not be something that will fit into all type of cooktops. You can't use it on direct heat. It will immediately start cracking. And you have to be very careful when you're using it. This can be like a stress factor for those people who are not accustomed to it. But you can start trying to use it, maybe see that, okay, does it work for you? Does it fit into your cooking style? So a lot of it depends on your cooking style. And to conclude, what kind of pan should I have? I would say there's no one pot or pan that will solve all your needs. Cooking in cast iron is healthy. It will add iron content to your food. So have that. So whenever you can cook some food on cast iron pan, you can always use that. Have carbon steel if you want to completely avoid non-stick and have this smooth surface, and a steel pan. All these pans that I've talked about, I'm actually using them in my daily life and also in our cooking show. You can see that all the food that I'm cooking are either being cooked on stainless steel, cast iron or carbon steel pan. I've put links to all these pans in the description of this video. You can also check out the Healthy Cooking Bootcamp on our website. Make sure you check it out so that you can learn a lot more in detail about these materials in your cooking. With this, I will leave you now, and make sure you do let us know in the comments what challenges you are facing when it comes to choosing a pan. And I'll see you in the next video.